for joining us. Well, severe weather warnings stretched right across southern Ontario this morning as strong thunderstorms rolled across the area. Power went out to some residents and traffic lights were out right across the city of Hamilton. Well, residents of Dorval, Quebec are being told not to drink the tap water after a plumbing mistake by a contractor emptied thousands of gallons of contaminated water into the city's drinking supply. Now, the city says boiling the water isn't even a solution and warns only to drink bottled water. Now, if you're traveling in and out of Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport, the water there is also affected by that water warning. Well, kicking off entertainment news, Arcade Fire has teamed up with Oscar-nominated director Spike Jonze for a new short film called Scenes from the Suburbs. Check it out. Former head of the International Monetary Fund, Dominic Strauss-Kahn, is due back in court in New York City tomorrow. 3 weeks ago, he was charged with sexually assaulting and attempting to rape a maid in a hotel. Since then, he's been kept under constant surveillance in a posh townhouse. Thomas Roberts reports. Well, if you're watching this broadcast and something has apparently gone terribly wrong with the cosmic clock, according to the best calculations of a California Christian pastor, doomsday is happening. So we sent Scott Urquhart out today to check out for signs of the apocalypse around our region and to get some perspective on the prediction that got everyone's attention.
What I have to say, the minute that, and you called it, Nick, the minute that Jack Layton came out and he waved his cane above his head, this crowd has been the craziest and the loudest they have been all night. So, I mean, that really, for me, that stands out as just the defining moment. Another big moment for this crowd was when Elizabeth May was speaking and thanking all Canadians. I mean, for her to get one seat, this crowd did erupt there. Now, those are two of the big moments. Of course, for Jack Layton, he's saying here, he's thanking specifically as also the people of Quebec. I mean, for him to literally sweep Quebec is something that, you know, a lot of people were saying may not have happened. Of course, he's also thanking his home riding and making a few jokes about thanking his wife, Olivia Chow, who is actually his member of Parliament. So they're quite the team there. And then, of course, his quote of Tommy Douglas, "Dream no little dream." I have a feeling that one will be quoted a lot throughout some of the next coverages to continue on. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to hear at this point. You can imagine this party is insane. Well over 2,000 people here at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. He is also saying, of course, that the big thing is working together for Jack Layton. So he is saying, he has the official opposition. He's here to work with Stephen Harper. He talked a lot about working with getting things right, getting things together for families, for Canadian families. He also is acknowledging that he knows that he has to earn the trust of all Canadians and that he's got a big job ahead of him as the official opposition. So this is a leader that knows what he has to get done, and it looks like he's stepping up to the plate and says it's taken years to get here, and he's willing to do it.
Know that he was going to get canned.
Yeah,
right?
You kind of hope that you move with the team, but
no, not a chance. So Malhotra back. This is huge. His eye kind of still a mess. It doesn't seem to be affecting his play, though.
No, he's lucky. He's been practicing with the team and dealing with all this. He said the hardest part was the nerves and the pressure before the game. Yeah. But when you get your adrenaline flowing, I mean, the eye swells a bit, but they broke him in, and he got
seems to be doing all right. Yeah. And also, just a shout out for Grimsby native Kevin Bieksa, who's playing.
Bieksa's awesome.
Yeah.
They call him the Grimsby goal scorer. I don't know if I started that or not. He's been playing well.
We like to think that you started it.
Yeah, a defenseman scoring goals. And apparently one of the best-looking players in the Canucks, I hear.
Anyways, yeah, he's all right.
He's doing really well, and the Canucks are doing really well. They're headed now to Boston with a 2-0 series lead.
I'm not going to lie. I did look up pictures of him the other day because I wanted to see what he looked like.
Bieksa or Malhotra?
Bieksa.
Nice.
Come on now. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Still to come on the evening news. Now, I have to say, okay, let's bring Brian in here because here's a story for you. I could hear everyone in the control room laughing when they saw the cat on the leash there.
Okay, yes.
My husband insisted that we try that we try and get a harness on my cat, Charlie.
Okay.
She got right out of that harness.
What did Charlie think?
She did not like that.
No way.
It was her first time outside. She booted around the yard. I almost lost her. I lost my mind. And when I thought that story was funny, Cara, who's behind our camera, told me, she said, yeah, well, I used to walk my rabbit. So there you go.
Okay.
I mean, everyone tries something. It's your own pet.
Exactly.
They make you laugh.
Yeah.
You walk your horses,
I walk
but
the
that's
horses,
normal.
We walk the dogs. Sure, we can
That's
do
normal.
that. They don't mind that, but the cats.
Cats and rabbits,
that's
not so
another
much.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
No.
All right, Kate. Let's check what we have now.
Adorned in ivory and white satin, Kate's dress was designed to look like an open flower. The train stretched nearly 7 feet long, which is modest compared to other royal brides. The bodice and train featured hand-cut individual flowers, including the 4 floral emblems of the UK, the rose, thistle, daffodil, and shamrock. Her arms were covered by intricate lace sleeves, not a current trend for most brides.
In order to get married in the Abbey, at least your elbows have to be covered. And it also has to have a relatively substantial train.
Sarah Houston is an accomplished Canadian designer whose dresses are in high demand in the UK.
I thought that was very classical and elegant, very Grace Kelly look. I would have liked to have seen more corsetry in the actual bodice that was visible.
Kate's choice of blending both traditional and modern looks has this fashion expert talking about a new trend in wedding gowns.
People are starting to embrace sleeves a bit, so it's coming back to straps, it's coming back to, cap sleeves, it's coming back to 3/4 length.
The royal bride worked closely with Sarah Burton to design her dress. It said Kate chose Burton because of her respect for traditional workmanship.
So it's massive for Sarah, it's going to be massive for her career, it's fantastic for the House of McQueen, and I think it's great for British fashion in general.
Fashion experts say we could see knockoffs of Kate's royal wedding dress a lot sooner than you might think.
You could sew a weekend and make a bridal gown for sure.
Not to be overlooked was Kate's veil, which was held in place by a Cartier halo tiara or something borrowed from Queen Elizabeth. Kate Carnegie, CHCH News.
But actually we saw the funnel cloud forming. We didn't really think much of it. We were kind of scared.
Renee Common's Lightweight 4 was one of the first boats to make it back to shore after the winds went from calm to fierce in a matter of minutes.
Since we were one of the first boats back, we were just basically helping a lot of the boats get in. And
there were between 90 and 100 people, including 5 Hamilton high schools that were either on or about to go on the water when the winds struck. 2 boats sank and some students were submerged in the frigid water for up to 15 minutes before being rescued by 2 Hamilton Marine boats. 8 students were taken to McMaster Hospital and treated for minor hypothermia.
We're trying to row back and we got too much water in the boat, so it sunk on its own. We decided to sit in the boat, keep calm, so we didn't want the waves pushing us around, but everything was all right. We were probably maybe to our chest and down in water.
Rowers traditionally don't wear life jackets. They're kept inside the coach boats, which was a problem today.
The coach boats were actually having trouble getting to us because they were actually trying to ride into the wind.
Coaches and teams monitor weather every night and again in the morning before getting on the water and say today's conditions were not expected.
When I went out this morning, the bay was flat calm this morning at 5. There were some warnings, but the warnings that we saw through weather alerts were for midday.
Police stayed at Leander Rowing Club for several hours, making sure everyone was accounted for. Once that was confirmed, the club's manager told CHCH News that 5 boats, including rowing shells and coach boats, are missing and unmanned on the water. To get something like an 8 there, it can cost about $30,000, and a 4 is also missing, and that's about $20,000. So it's a lot for these schools to be missing their boats at this point. They've got schoolboy championships coming up in a couple of weeks, so this is just an experience that for rowers is something that, a lot of them are just extremely shocked.
All the coaches and rowers all pulled together. Everybody's safe and accounted for, and that's what matters.
Police marine units won't be able to try and retrieve the boats until the winds die down, and even then, the damage will be extensive. Kate Carnegie, CHCH News.